Good morning, everyone. This is Shana and Alicia and Bill today. Welcome to Zoom 101. Our clients are visiting with us today to learn how to Zoom in the new 21st century in the year 2021. These ladies have put together a fun presentation to make fun out of something that's complicated, something that makes them want you to pull the rest of your hair out at times. I'm guilty of that. You can see what happened, the results of it. But nevertheless, before we begin this morning, I want to, if Alicia or Shana rather will put up the calendar, I want to just have you see this for a moment. Okay, this is our calendar for this year, and you can find that in the documents on the right side as well, if you'd like to print it off. Just wanted you to make a note of a couple things there. This is our last, this is the first event of this month, and on the 25th, we're going to have a Zoom virtual meeting on understanding your statements. We get a lot of requests for this, people not quite understanding how to read and decipher things, so we're going to have a presentation conducted by Daniel 2 weeks from today on the 25th at the same time. Now, next month in March, we get a master gardening class, which should be pretty exciting. Alicia's father-in-law has been, 30 years, 40 years gardening, whatever it is.
Long time.
Has a big garden in his backyard, and he's excited. He has a similar hairstyle of mine. Probably lost it out there in the sun doing all the gardening, but it'll be a great event. And on the 11th of March, and then on the 25th of March, we'll be talking about wealth transfer and legacy planning. And we intend to have a special guest for that. Moving ahead in April, and then we'll move forward here. We have a couple events there that are virtual, risk management, and we're going to do the food truck live. Only have one virtual event. The risk management on the 8th. On the 22nd in the Macon office parking lot, we're going to do what we did last year. We're going to have a trade event, so bring all your stuff. That's after tax season, right? After filing of taxes, and we're going to have that Mexican food truck again. Should be a lot of fun. We had well over 100 folks attend last year. It was in the rain. It was a lot of fun. We're going to have 2 live double cooking events, one in Natalia's in Macon and one at the Props Restaurant in Warner Robins. That's on the 13th in Macon, the 15th in Warner Robins. And we'll have a seminar there, workshop on retirement planning that you can bring your friends to and get double tickets for this year's referral program, which I'll discuss right now. Most everybody was able to receive this in your email. It's the introduction of our theme for this year. We're going to have a Hawaiian theme. And if you haven't gotten this, go back and look in your emails. We're going to enter everybody that refers us this year will get tickets like we did last year. And if those folks become clients, then you get more tickets. The more tickets you get, the more opportunities you have for prizes at our appreciation event that's going to be in a Hawaiian themed event. So go ahead, and if you haven't gotten it thus far, do we have this for download, Shana?
Yep, I've already shared that and the event calendar. It should show up in your chat box.
You can download that if you haven't seen it before and look at it. And then our first quarterly drawing for any referrals for the first quarter of the year will be had in April, and we're giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. We can make Jeff Bezos just a little bit more wealthy by giving you folks a $100 gift card. Now that he's the wealthiest man in the world, he needs to share that wealth. Most people don't realize that man has 1.5 million employees. Can you imagine the size of that business? Wow. Everything flows from Amazon. Well, today we're going to go virtual and learn how to do Zoom. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go and learn myself because I make so many mistakes trying to do this. I feel like an idiot sometimes. So I'm going to go into my office and I'm going to sit down on my notepad and I'm going to try to learn from these ladies today so that I don't make mistakes when we're doing virtual meetings with clients, which we've been doing a lot of this past year or so. So thanks everybody for attending. I'm going to turn the time over to Shana and Alicia. Step back, relax. They've got some very good informative information that we're all going to learn from today. Thank you and look forward to seeing you in the future.
All right, thanks, Bill. So I'm going to do most of the presentation, and if I forget anything, Alicia's going to pipe in here and help me out. So as we said, we're going to go over some helpful hints and how to get into Zoom. A lot of how to get into Zoom, because it seems like that seems to be our biggest ticker. So Alicia and I were trying really hard to plan this stuff, and this is like a real picture. She and I were so stressed trying to figure out how to do a Zoom presentation. We really wanted to do a Zoom while we were in Webinar Jam, and it just wasn't working. And I know a lot of you guys feel like this when you're trying to get onto Zoom. It could be a little stressful, but we're hoping we can make it a little less stressful for you guys. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to join a Zoom from a computer. So you'll get an email, and there are three main things that you need to look for in the email. And this first one at the top is the hyperlink to the Zoom meeting. And then the next arrow is to your meeting ID number. And then the third arrow is your passcode. And all of these are important. So you'll want to pay close attention to those three items. If you haven't downloaded on your computer and you want to download on your computer, this will pop up and you can download it. You would click on this orange box here that says to execute it, to download it on your computer, but you do not have to download Zoom on the computer. That's only if you want to do that. If you don't want to download it, when you click on that hyperlink, this is what shows up. The top one, it should automatically open Zoom. If it doesn't, you can click on this top circle here, and that should open Zoom. If that doesn't open Zoom, then you can click on this bottom one where it says to launch the meeting. Now, the second item in that email was that was actually the third item. It was your passcode that you needed to get into the Zoom. So you would enter that here. And for us, we put lowercase Zoom. So all the passcodes for Zoom are case sensitive. They could even have symbols and numbers in them. Initially, when we started Zoom, when we tried to do Zooms with our clients, Zoom automatically generated the passcodes, and they were crazy. And we had a lot of hard time with people getting into the meetings. But now that we can generate our own, we do try to pick something simple. Almost always, it's going to be lowercase. Maybe it may be your last name, or like for the Showdown, I think the passcode was Zoom for that. So we try to make it easy. Then you're going to want to join with your computer audio. Even if you want to be muted throughout the meeting, just please click join with the computer audio. It just makes it easier for us as we're going through it, for you if you're already connected to the audio. If you've never used Zoom before, you're going to want to put your name in here. If you have, then you can skip this. You can skip this step. Then you should be in. It's really, we're hoping that it's not that difficult, but sometimes things are. And so if you can't get the hyperlink to work, there's a way to go around that. So if you go to your web browser and you type in zoom.com, I have highlighted in a red circle here where it says join a meeting. You would click on that. All right, I see Larry Thompson. I thought you had to sign into Zoom in order to get into Zoom meeting. No, you do not. You do not have to sign into Zoom in order to get into a Zoom meeting. You can just enter the meeting ID or click on the link in your email, and you should be able to join from there. All right, so then you're going to have to enter your meeting passcode again, which is the lowercase Zoom. And then you have the option of 2 views on your computer for Zoom. So over here on the left, I have what's called the speaker view. And then on the right is the gallery view. Now this is a smaller Zoom meeting. There's only 4 individuals. And so in the speaker view, the bigger picture is of the speaker. And then at the top, you can see the speaker again, small, but you can also see the 3 other members in the meeting. And what I circled here at the top of the speaker view picture, if you wanted to go to the gallery view, that's what you would click. And so over here on the right is what the gallery view looks like. And since it's a smaller group, you can see everybody right there. If it was a bigger group, you would have to scroll through and you could look and see everybody that is on the meeting. But since this is a small group, you can see all 4 here. Now, if you wanted to go back to gallery view, on the gallery view picture here that I've also circled in red, you can see where it says in real tiny letters, it says speaker view. And that would bring you back to the speaker view, and it would make your screen look like it does here on the left-hand side picture. So these are the Zoom controls in Zoom. Over here on the left, we have mute, start video. You can see the security, the participants, the chat, the share screen, record, closed captioning, breakout rooms, and the reactions. But we're going to talk about the mute and unmute button and the turn the video on and off button. So over here on the left is the mute button. And as you see, the video button has a red line through it. So for this picture's example, that means that this person is not muted, but their video is off. And what some people don't realize is they don't realize that they're not muted, and so that everybody can hear them. Alicia had a funny experience with a church Zoom a couple weeks ago. Someone didn't realize that their mute button was not muted. And so they made a little snarky remark that everybody got to hear. So if you don't want people to hear you, or they don't want to hear your dogs barking, you want to make sure you're muted. And if you don't want them to see you, you can turn that off as well. All right, so the chat box was further down, as remember from here on this screen, the chat. I just highlighted it so you can see it a little bit better. So if you were to click on that chat button, it would bring up a box. And in this middle picture, I've highlighted where it says everyone. If you were to click on that, you would have the option to maybe just speak to your host, or depending on how the meeting is set up, you could select a single person to speak to. If someone has already spoken in that chat box, you could just click on their name and you could chat with them.
We have a question, Shana, from Larry. He says, if I got the app on my computer, can I just use that app to plug in the passcode and meeting ID?
Yes. Yes. So did I already go how to join a meeting? Yeah, so you would just go to join a meeting in your app, and then you would be able to plug in the meeting ID number and then the passcode. So yes, absolutely, you can do that, Mr. Larry. Okay, so and the little tiny button over here on the bottom right, Alicia, can you move me for a second? Thank you. So there's reactions you can do in Zoom. That's one of the things I like about Zoom. I mean, there's pros and cons to all these different technology, but for Zoom, you get to interact with one another. So like if someone were giving a presentation or someone was talking, you could give a little thumbs up, or you could give a smiley face, or maybe they were going too a little fast. You could ask them to slow down, or if they had a question, they can raise their hand. And so this far right button that I've circled here in red is the reaction button on your computer screen. And then when you want to leave the meeting, all the way on the bottom right, circled here in red, you hit end. And then that's how you end the meeting. This is all from the computer. But let's say you're going to do it on a cell phone or a tablet, which a lot of us use instead of the computer. So this is an email invitation, but you could get it in a text form. But it doesn't matter which one, because you still need the same 3 pieces of information that you needed before. You need the hyperlink, you need the meeting ID number, and then you'll need the passcode. Now, for your phone, you do have to download the Zoom Cloud Meeting app, either in Google Store or your Apple App Store. So when you click the hyperlink, it'll pop up this screen. And if you have not downloaded it, then you will choose this bottom one here that is circled in red to download that app first. But if you already have it downloaded on your phone, then you will just go to join the meeting here that is circled right here. Then you enter your passcode. Now you want to make sure that you want to join using your internet audio, the same as before it was your computer audio. Now it's going to be your internet audio because it's your cell phone or your tablet. Now this is an interesting screen. This is called the waiting for the host to start the meeting. And so don't think that you've messed up. The host has set up the waiting room, and so he will admit you. So you're going to get into the meeting. You just need to wait a moment for him to start the meeting. Nice nails. Thanks, Carrie. All right, so now let's say the link doesn't work on your phone either. sometimes this stuff happens. You can go straight to the Zoom app on your phone or your tablet. And over here at the top that I've circled in red, you can click join the meeting. Once you do that, you should be able to enter your meeting ID. And if you have not already put your name in, you can put your name in. Or let's say your spouse had joined it on your phone and you want to change the name, you can change that there. And then you'll enter your meeting code, which is Zoom again. And then you want to make sure you select join with video, and again, also select call using your internet audio. All right, Alicia, can you move me again? Sorry. So here's how you find the chat box on your phone. And I also want to go over the unmute and the start video button. So the unmute is again all the way on the bottom, far left, and then the video is right next to it. But you don't see anything beyond the participants except for these 3 dots. And so if you click on these 3 little dots, this is going to bring up your settings here. This is where you can raise your hand. This is where you can look at the security set, of the meeting, and then chat. You could also look at your meeting settings. You could minimize it. You could put yourself a virtual background. You can put all kinds of neat things behind you. And then here's where your action buttons are that you can respond with there. But once you click on the chat button, it'll look like over here on the right-hand side. And you could either select the everyone, or you can select the host or specific people as well. Now, the speaker view and gallery views are different on your phones or your tablets. Over here on the left, this is currently in the gallery view. And as you can see that my picture's got a green box around it. That means that at the time I took that screenshot that I was speaking in that moment. And then over here on the right, that's what the speaker view looks like. So you can still see that I was in the meeting with Alicia, but Alicia was speaking. And so in order to swipe between, in order to get from gallery view to speaker view, it's a matter of swiping to left or right on your phone until you get to either where it's just one person, and that's the speaker, or you'll just see groups of people if there's several people. Is the passcode required? I think so. I'm not 100% sure, Mr. Charlie, but it seems like anytime I've ever set up a meeting, and maybe it's because I've always put a passcode, it either requires you to set up the waiting room. I think it gives you 2 options for security reasons. By default, you have to choose one of them. So maybe the other option was chosen. But I think for the most part, we will always require a passcode for our meetings, Mr. Charlie. Just to be on the safe side, that there's just one extra thing. All right, so let's say you want to leave the meeting on your phone. That is not in the same place. That is up here on the right, as you can see the end. Since I was the host of this meeting, I could end the meeting for all, but that won't be an option for you guys. So you will just hit leave the meeting right here. So now here's some common problems that we find with Zoom. So if you're having a hard time getting Zoom to come on your computer or your phone, you need to shut down anything that's not necessary. That can slow things down and make things not work. Also, you want to make sure that you have the latest updates for the Zoom app, either on your phone or your computer if you have it downloaded, because they're always updating things on it. And so you want to make sure you have the latest update. And if those things if you're still having issues, make sure that your computer's up to date and your phone is up to date. What is the meeting ID? You're trying to get in on my cell phone. So the meeting ID, and whenever you got your email that gave you the Zoom meeting information from whoever was inviting you to Zoom, it would give you the hyperlink. It would give you a meeting ID, which is like 10 to 12 numbers. And then it would also give you a passcode. And so it should be in either your text or your email, and it should be in there. And it will vary based on who. It's automatically generated based on each meeting that is set up, Mr. Webster. All right, so audio problems. So we mentioned to make sure you're muted when you want to be muted and not muted when you don't want to be muted. Most of you guys will not be using an external microphone, but if there were an external microphone, when you go to click for the audio, it will give you several options and which microphone you want to use. So that most likely won't apply, but just make sure you don't have anything extra hooked up to your computer if it's on your computer. Another problem is if you've got like Bluetooth headphones, maybe it's connecting to another device instead of the one you're on. So that might be why you can't hear it. You can also check the audio source in Zoom. You can click on this. I don't know if you can see these. Yes, you can. So in this middle picture here where I've got the red square around the mute button, there's a little arrow there next to it. If you click on that, you'll be able to see the audio settings and what you currently have going on for that meeting. So you should be able to change them there. And then you can see there's also one by the video button too, and that's another way you can troubleshoot your video. But then you can also check your audio settings that you have for the Zoom app, either on your phone or your computer. Oftentimes you might have something set up in there that you might need to check that's not actually the setting in the meeting. Video problems. So this picture here on the top, you can see that this lady on the left, this is her stock photo. So she has her video off, and the gentleman on the right has his video on. Make sure you're using the proper camera. For your cell phone, you can choose which camera you want it to do, whether it's the front or the back. And then you also want to confirm the settings in Zoom. And if it's blocky or it keeps freezing, it could be your Wi-Fi. You're welcome. So my son, he had to be quarantined, actually his whole class, and he would keep hitting the unmute button to tell the teacher, I can't see, you guys are frozen, I can't hear the teacher. And he kept interrupting the meeting. I had to continue to tell him that it was probably just the Wi-Fi, our Wi-Fi, because we have several kids doing school here at home. So oftentimes it's your Wi-Fi that could be causing the problem. But it could also be making sure that you're not using too much data as far as the apps and things like that we mentioned earlier on your phone. So there's a few keyboard shortcuts for Zoom if you're using a computer. And I'm going to go ahead and share this with you as well. Currently, it only has shortcuts for Windows, but Alicia was going to do some looking for some shortcuts for maybe a MacBook. But these are quick ways that you can either mute or unmute yourself. I think it was Miss Kayla Abity that said that you could hit the space bar. Yeah, there it is. And you can quickly mute or unmute yourself. So, I know that's a lot of information. I'm going to go ahead and share what I just shared with you. I put it in a PDF file, so you guys can download that on your computer. You can have that to go back and look at. So Alicia and I, what we want to offer, and I'm going to do a little poll here for you guys. So in the chat box, I'm asking a lot of things you guys today.
Well, this is what we did to help ourselves out when the quarantine hit. We're like, we got to learn this.
We got to learn stuff. But we're going to give you guys a poll. Alicia and I are willing to do a mock Zoom with you guys on either Tuesday, February 16th at 10:45 or Friday, February 19th at 10:45.
Is it 10:45 or 11:45?
You told me 10:45. Did you want?
It's fine.
Well, you can tell me. Should it have been 11:45? That might be my bad.
We'll be here either time.
We'll be here for you is what we're saying. Because oftentimes, we have a meeting and it's not like something you get to play with. So I'm going to publish this right now. So if you guys want to fill out this poll of when, or even if you would like to do this, we will set up a Zoom and we'll practice with you guys. And we'll also be on the phone to help you guys walk you through it. You can have...
Because a lot of times when y'all are joining Zooms, you're there to see a specific event. So it's not like you can play with the buttons or talk or unmute or screen share or whatever. So this is an opportunity for you to play around, try it out, see what everything does. So we're giving you that opportunity to work with it.
All right. So Mr. Larry says 11:45. So you can pick the day, but we'll make it 11:45.
We talked about that, but I think it got confusing with our stuff.
I'm sure it did. It's been a crazy week. So it's looking like Friday might work for most people.
Okay.
So if you're interested in doing that, we will probably just, I guess you can respond to the chat box, or we'll just send a Zoom invite to everybody that signed up. And you guys can join us for that. It's looking like the 19th is doing better than the 16th, right? Oh, yeah, it's moving. But yeah, we'll be gladly to help you guys Zoom. We'll try to make it fun and try to help you guys out, because while this is nice that we can do this. It's a whole lot more fun when we get to see your faces and interact with you together. So if we can be able to do some Zooms in addition to the webinar jams, we would love to do that. All right, so it looks like 11:45 is good. All right, so we will we'll reach out to you guys. We'll send you guys some Zoom invites for that. And I guess that's it, unless you guys have some questions we haven't currently addressed. You want to learn how to change your background? We'll walk you through that, Ms. Joyce.
That's been fun to watch.
That's fun. Will we do a hosting? Will you do a hosting a meeting session?
Yeah, we'll be hosting the meeting session.
We'll host it. We'll be there with you guys. We'll send you guys the link to sign you guys up. All right. So we'll just send you guys an invitation to your email addresses that we have on file, and then we'll get to play in Zoom.
It will be fun. Shay and I, as much as we've had stressfulness, we've also had a lot of fun laughing at ourselves trying to figure this out.
I call it failing forward. We're
That's
learning
right.
a lot on how to do things, not the way we've been doing them. All right. So unless you guys have any other questions, we'll call it good.
And we'll see you next Friday.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much.